Hi, everybody. You got about 3 minutes if you want to make one of the member comment, one of these things out so that you can speak to anything that might be on there, even though they're not agenda items, they're just updates. If you want to speak to those or something else, if you could please fill one of them out, that would be great. Thank you. Kind of loud, man.
I know it's slow.
Okay, good evening, everybody. 7 o'clock, and I am calling the meeting to order. Are we all good? Okay, I just need my glasses. Out of respect for all in here, I would like you to turn off or turn down or mute your cell phones, and I'll do that right now. There we go. Remove all your hats and get ready for a moment of silence before the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is anyone recording the meeting? Okay, Peter, thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll move along. The approval of the minutes for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. I make a motion to accept. The minutes as written.
I would second that, but there's an amendment to the minutes.
Okay. No. Just second.
I just said.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? This is what you say.
I have a discussion.
Okay.
In the minutes, it was brought to the attention by Hope Campbell that there's one of the sentences where it says, Hope Campbell, Unit 2 says that any ballot that was voted by mail and online were discarded. That, it sounds like both votes were discarded, which is not true. The first vote we received was taken, and the second vote was discarded. So we just want to now make that more clear, so we're going to amend the minutes to say that.
Okay, so I'll update the motion to accept the minutes after the amendments are made.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect, thank you.
And we have correspondence. There's a letter from Peggy Christie. Now, this looks like it was written a while back in July, and I don't know if it was just not answered, but she's asked us to please read it again at our meeting. So the letter is asking, suggesting that we should hire a CPA as a full-time employee to handle the finances of Brookridge as soon as possible. And another suggestion to purchase and install on Brookridge BOD Meeting a speed alert warning system that will also take a picture of the license plate of the speeding vehicle.
Okay, and I received this letter, well, the suggestion, other than the top piece of it. I received this suggestion in the box, and I sat and spoke with her about it. I sat and spoke with Peter about the speed alert blinking light signs on the sides of the road. And then I've spoken, David and I have had several conversations about it, and we're looking into prices and updates on how we can do that and have them solar powered, so it won't generate as much of a cost to the community. So we are looking into that one. As far as the other one is concerned, I believe that one will be updated just as soon as the financial piece of Brookridge is taken care of, whether it be a finance company or we continue with the rate that we were. So, and I believe that will be answered then, but I'm glad that it's on the record now. Okay.
The second letter is from the Brookridge Social Dance Committee and the ladies of Brookridge. They would like to purchase 300 new chairs for the clubhouse because the ones that exist now are breaking and becoming unsafe. They have agreed to cover the total cost of the chairs by ladies of Brookridge have agreed to donate $500, and the balance would be donated by the Brookridge Social Dance Committee. The total of the chairs is $9,433.14. So that's very generous. And so I make a motion.
No, we're not voting. This is just to let us know, but I'd like to talk to, I believe Patty, you're the one that's speaking for this. Are these chairs replacing the black ones that you're sitting in, or are they replacing? I hate to do that to you, but I can't hear you.
This is the same for the chair that we're purchasing.
Correct. Hang on, everybody wants to hear you talk.
The chairs we have now, the welds on the bottom are breaking. I'm unit 4, Patty Cummings. The chairs we have now, the welds are breaking, so it's an unsafe chair, and some of the cushions are breaking. These blue chairs are for the Thursday night show. They purchased those chairs.
Okay.
We don't use those chairs. Yeah, look at the difference. Yes. Can you get one with the head?
Over time, that whole well break right in here. And then you just gotta-
Which makes them unsafe.
Right, this one,
Can't fix them.
no, and
Okay.
these have an extra weld under the seat and on each leg.
Okay.
And they're costing you absolutely nothing.
Okay, so they're costing Brookridge nothing because somebody's been very generous with it. So they're costing us nothing, but the clubhouse gets to utilize them. Is that
Yes,
correct for all the?
It was my understanding after 30 days, they would belong to the clubhouse, and we would have no say in it. So that's how it works.
Okay,
So we're purchasing them for our use, but they're also going to be used by other things. I believe bingo uses them.
okay,
We asked all of the clubs to help us buy these chairs The ladies of Brookridge was the only club that offered to help us.
Well, I think that's wonderful, ladies of Brookridge. Thank you very much. The thing is that in here, it states that
Talk to everybody.
you,
Well, if you want to donate the money, Sandy, we'll take it.
so this is something that you're gonna be doing, you just wanted to let us know this, right?
No, we will submit the checks to Arlene,
Uh-huh,
and Arlene will order the chairs from the company that I have suggested.
perfect. And you're all good with that, Arlene?
Yes, ma'am.
Life is good. I think that's wonderful. Everybody? I think it's great. Thank you very much, guys. Very generous. Okay. That is a lot of money.
I believe that's the largest donation yet.
Huh?
If I recall, last, if I can recall, since 2013 or 2012 when I moved in here, that's been the largest donation yet. So thank you, Social Dance. Thank you, Women's Club. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Well deserved. One good thing about it is that it'll be some peace of mind on everybody's, because we do throw away at least 4 or 5 a month now because of the age of them, because you do check them regularly. A couple of them, have people sitting on at a social dance. Same thing with the tables that we purchased. Once you have an accident, it gets investigated, you find the root cause of the accident, and you just eliminate the problem.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So the old chairs will stick around for a while, but the new chairs will come in and be utilized.
Just be added to the inventory, yes.
Perfect.
And then
Thank
next year after, whenever they get some more money, then we can finish off the rest of the order. That way they're all on the same inventory and the same kind of chair, the same time.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
The only other thing I'd like to add is to thank you for everybody's participation in our dances on Saturday night, because we couldn't have done this without you.
Okay, so did everybody hear her? Okay, I believe she said, thank you very much for everybody coming to the dance that's one Saturday out of the month, because if it weren't for you, they could not do what they're doing. So thank you. Is that correct? Thank you very much. We love the dances. I do. Okay, so next, I think I'm gonna pass it over to Arlene, because I want her to speak to a question that has come up in the community quite a bit about the emails, telephone numbers for the board members and to the different places here.
Okay, so we did announce, one of the board members announced last month that there will be new email addresses for the board members, and we wanted to keep it simple, not all over the place like it was. I got a new email, Peter got a new email, and we did finally get everything organized. We got it all pretty. It's on the website. So if you go to contact us, you scroll down on the left, contact us, it shows up on there. And then just last week too, we were having a couple of problems because originally we were gonna do vice president one, VP one, so there was a little bit of confusion, but I believe all of the board, you're all on, you can access it. So tomorrow I will be sending out a mass email to everybody, just outlining too, everyone's emails, new emails, and hopefully, if you need to contact the board member, it is clearly listed right there. And of course, again, it is on the website. So,
Thank you, Arlene.
thank you.
Okay, so next we're gonna do the gatehouse.
The gatehouse. We got, the gatehouse has been a trial and error. We ended up with only one actual bid for the gatehouse. When we had two, a third and fourth no-showed for coming in to talk to us. Another one, once they came and they saw how small the job was, they said they couldn't be bothered. So we now have one bid. They did a re-proposal after changes that we made to try to save a little money, and there's a resident that's going to help with this. Actually, I can help if he's here. Jimmy, are you here?
He's here. I'm gonna let you use my headset.
Oh, hi. I'm gonna pass this on to you.
Okay, so here's the headset.
You need to go, Jim, you need to go to the podium. Name, unit number.
Good evening. My name is Jim Pecorelli. I live on- Good evening. My name is Jim Pecorelli. I live on 14192 Edmund Street. There was a day where I was going, it was a few months to see the project wasn't getting done. And as a retired builder for 40 years, I retired a few years ago, so I offered my help to get this job completed and done the right way, as fast and efficiently as we can. Dave reached out to me, Peter reached out to me to go over a few things about the clubhouse. The clubhouse is, or the gate guard, I should say. I'm not used to this. So, bear with me. So within this, we got Ron Rule, one of the builders, to take care of this project. I went over it, looked into everything that was going to be done, disagreed with a few things that were going to be costly, of course, that didn't need to be done. So with that said, this place will have at the base all mason board put around. It's already been treated for the mold that was in there. There was a lot of mold in the bottom. So we're going to do that with cement board. So that doesn't happen again. That cannot collect mold, it cannot do any of those things. They're going to restucco the inside to match. They're going to change the colors. We're going to be adding recessed lighting around the outside, all in the soffits to light it up a little more. There's going to be triple E glass with the tint that is so dark you cannot see inside. You will visibly be able to see outside, but you can't see inside. Nobody will see inside. Those will be done to all the windows in the clubhouse, or in the gate, the guard shack. Also, the inside will have all recessed lighting with a dimmer switch. There's going to be a monitor on the wall. They'll be able to see the people coming from a distance. Whoever's coming, they'll be able to see them from that monitor before they get to the window, which is a good thing for safety. They're going to also put an automatic window in. So when you drive up the curb, the poles are going to be moved back closer to the building. So that person inside the building, people are not going to have to stand out in the weather anymore, whether it's raining or whatever. The window will open automatically. You'll be able to reach out to the vehicle with ease and take their identification or whatever it may be that they need to get in here. If not, there will be a driveway, a turnaround right after the guard shack that they're going to have to get out. They won't be able to get past the gate. They have to go. So that's another good safety feature that I thought was really, really good. There's going to be a new toilet, new sinks in there. Countertops all the way around, new countertops, new ceiling fan, brand new flooring in there, vinyl flooring, which can't get wet, can't get mold under it. There'll be a barrier underneath that won't be able to collect moisture or mold. So those people will be safe now, a lot safer than it was at one point. But with that said, the outside will be finished, completed, stuccoed, colors will be changed. That we don't know about the colors yet. But a lot of that brought me into this. I didn't want to after being retired for 5 years now. I didn't want to be brought into it, but I figured they need help. And they need somebody not to rip them off, which we already crossed that barrier. They're not going to do it. Peter was in the office one day and I walked in. This is how it began. He was standing there and people were coming in yelling at him, screaming at him for this. And I felt it was unfair to him to absorb all that. You know, it lies on everybody. that was involved in this whole thing. And to get it moving along, I did that. And we have it set to start in probably the second week of January. The project will take 2 to 3 weeks to complete. We'll be completely finished. Pete and I were out there the other day. 2 people drove through the gate in one day that it was operating. Go figure how that happened. So me and him went back out and repaired it 2 times in one day. So with that, anyway, the gates will be moved forward. That's all going to be part of the whole project. The gates are going to get moved forward, you know, and there'll be more parking area in the main office where the main office is. So that ours will be moved up. So we won't put so much congestion in one area. So like I said, the driveway will be about another 20 inches wider, you know, so there's more room, it's not compacted together, and it'll cause less congestion. Is there any questions about this, or?
You want to mention about the air conditioning?
Oh, yeah, there will be brand new air conditioning with the dehumidifier in it. It'll pull all the moisture out of the building, the ventilation in the ceiling. They're putting a ceiling vent, solar panel ceiling or roof vent in to remove the heat from the attic because of all the wiring in there. So I thought that would be necessary too with a new drop ceiling, brand new drop ceiling.
Is Ron Rule licensed and insured?
Yes, he is. Licensed, insured, and bonded.
Do you have any idea when it's gonna be completed?
2 to 3 weeks after, it's going to start the second week of January. And it will take 2 to 3 weeks to complete it. It could take 2, it might go into 3, but we're hoping for 2. And I'll be there throughout the process to make sure it gets done, you know, in an efficient manner and done right. Done the right way.
I have a question from, or a statement from James Bennett. He wants you to let us know your experience or expertise relevant to the project.
Mine? I've been a licensed builder for 40 years. New Jersey, which is very, very, very strict. Yes,
What's
sir.
the price tag on this?
Excuse me?
How much?
Price tag.
The price tag is $53,400. It was at 68.
Okay,
We got him down, so.
I have to interject here. One of the emergency meetings that we had due to safety concerns was actually to approve the funding for the project. And the funding for the project did wind up coming in a lot less than what it was to begin with, but it came in at
550.
59,550, and we have already, it's gonna be in 4 separate payments. The largest will be the one that's the supplies. The other 4 they'll get as they go complete different steps to the project. So that's what it came in at, but that's completed out the door.
That's pretty much it. I had it at 53,400, but I believe there was a couple things that were added that weren't that big, and they were very good to work with and very easy to work with. I feel confident that they're going to do a really, really, really good job with me being there, because I'll make sure I was always picky with my company. And my guys, if they were here, they'd say, yeah. But they were all with me for over a lot of
Jimmy,
for most of the time.
you want to tell them who the company is that's going to be doing it, the name of the company?
It's,
Cobra.
Cobra.
yeah,
Cobra Builders, that's the
Cobra
company that
Custom
Ron Rule works
Builders.
for.
Cobra Custom Builders.
Ron
And
Rule
Ron
works for
Rule
that
is in
company.
charge of that.
And a woman by the name of Janine Davis. I
Yeah,
was impressed.
yeah, she is one of the owners. She was also there the other day and very good to work with, and offered to put in a closet also as well into the bathroom for free. So that was free of charge. Because we asked her about a closet and she said, I'll do it for free. So she's very good to get along with, very easy to get along with.
Thank you, Jimmy, for coming up and helping these guys out. giving us all the opportunity to listen to what they're gonna be doing. I appreciate that.
If there's anything else, you can contact me. Any questions?
You know, I don't know about anybody else,
Thank
but I
you.
appreciate it when volunteers in the community come forward to help us out. That's a wonderful thing.
You're no longer retired.
Chairs being donated, services being donated, it's wonderful. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is, on the agenda is Richard. Do you have an update on the computers for us?
If everybody can hear me, I talked to Thomas Fine from Fine Technologies today, and he has received the computers and the firewall and the tablets, and he's preparing all those, and they should be installed shortly. So that was the update that I got talking to him today.
Financial management update.
Yeah, a financial management update. We have, can everybody hear me? 'Cause I don't want to. Is this better?
Yeah.
Is this better? I don't want to be too loud on the mic. I can hear you. So, the finance companies that we have all worked with and brought on board, we have, right now we have 6 quotes, another one came in this morning. We have 7 altogether that we will have by the time we're done. The plan is to go through all of them together, sit down and have our questions answered. And from that point, we're looking at bookkeeper versus no bookkeeper. We're being told by the majority of the finance companies that having a bookkeeper on site, by the time you get done and you get it straightened out, you're gonna be lucky if you have 8 hours, maybe 10 hours a week that you'll need a bookkeeper for. So they're showing us both quotes, but definitely saying that once everything is under the finance company's umbrella, that we wouldn't need a bookkeeper in-house, but we're still looking at both. The bookkeeper and the amount that we pay for other people to take care of services is ranging about $78,000 a year right now. And the finance companies are coming in between 34 and right now 82. So that would compensate and offset that cost for us. So that's a good thing. So anyway, the steps to that will be, we ask our questions, we interview them ourselves. We get them down to the bottom 4, and then the question, we'll start checking out their references to make sure their references pan out. Okay, that's good. Pan out. And then from that point, we will pick the final 2. And the final 2, we will have a meeting here, probably a town hall, I would imagine, so that there can be a Q&A for all of the residents to be able to ask them whatever questions you want to ask them. And then the final decision will be made at that point. So our projected goal is to have them in and starting to get up and running by the 1st of February. So, and that's the update I have to date. Questions? You gotta go to the mic. Okay.
On now. Terry Johnson, Unit 1. The bookkeeper, is she under contract?
No, she's not. Vivian is not.
I thought she was.
Nope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Viv-
Do that. Wait till last.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions about the finance companies?
I have actually something for Tim. Dean George says, excellent news on security buildings, Reno. And thank you, Jimmy, for assisting our community with your oversight on this project.
Very nice. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions about the finance management piece, oh, wait a minute, there is something that I have to do. The finance management piece brought up another question, because when the finance company comes into play, a lot of the financial things that we have been doing in a particular way will no longer be done that way. Although the finance committee here is supposed to be disbanded and then restarted in June, apparently they have not been disbanded. So I've watched through the meetings and they've been thanked and addressed, but the word disband wasn't used. So because of that, we still have a finance committee of one person. So I just want to put it on the record that at this point, we are thankful and grateful for the finance committee and everything that they have done. But as of today in our records, they will have been disbanded. And the only other one that we have at this point is the rules and regs. And the rules and regs committee was disbanded in October. But because the word was not utilized, apparently they're still intact. So at this point, the rules and regs has been disbanded and will be sought out in the future from the listings that we have that are out there asking for resumes to come in. So I just want to make sure that those two things were done. Any questions on any of that? We're all good. Next.
Public works discussion. Roberta.
The board wants to thank the members for being so patient with the damage that was caused by the 2 hurricanes. We know that there was so much debris hanging around and the county was really overwhelmed, so it took a long time for them to get around. But in the meantime, Vince and his crew in Public Works did come to our assistance. They got a chipper, they chipped up the big stuff and got it all, taken care of until the county did come and take some of it away. But we're just so grateful that you all realized that it was a time-consuming process, and we're just happy that Vince and his crew were able to step up and do a good job for us. Kudos to Vince and his crew.
All good?
Okay, I have to speak to this, to Vince and his crew. I don't know how they became so magnificent. Anybody that looks at the lights that have been put up in this community, I mean, I get goose pimples just thinking about them. They are absolutely amazing. I've been through several of the other communities. Some of them didn't put them up till last week, and they're minimal amounts. So over and above Vince and your crew, I am absolutely amazed.
It's just not me. It's all the clubhouse staff and the public works staff that puts them up. Beautification works very, very hard at getting it done. We take a lot of direction from beautification, but we're here to help you make the place look great. That's what our main function is as employees of the clubhouse and public works, to make sure that the grounds are up to your expectations. If they're not, please let me know and we'll fix it. That's my goal. Thank you.
Now, Tracy McCumber, would you please come up and speak about the Community Development Committee? And Steve.
Can you hear me? Thank you. I'm going to bring Steve with me because he's going to read some things.
Do you want my phone for him?
No, we're good. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start. I am Tracy McCumber, Unit 2. I am the chairperson for the Community Development Committee. We used to be the development committee and the traffic safety, and we have merged. So we were facilitating each other, so we figured it would just make it easier. I'm gonna give you an update on the Alliance at the Grove, which is our project going out in front. And I'm just gonna read verbatim. Obviously, they are moving forward with Olive Garden out there. That should be done in early 2025. And as to any other the businesses that are going in there, until the superintendent gets a work order, then we are not privileged to that information. I know there's a lot of things floating around out there, but what happens is they may have a contractual agreement and it gets denied or changes, so we just don't want to put it out there until we actually know. We have spoken with the developer about reinforcing our buffer, the landscape buffer that's going to be between their property and ours. And forgive me if I mispronounce this, but bougainvillea, I think is the correct term. We want to put those in, as well as what we're going to have out there is a landscape buffer. So we'll have trees that are stacked and they'll be very dense. And then we thought for added protection, we'd go ahead and put those in. And what Kevin, the developer, said that everything is really dictated by the county, what they can put in and what they can't. So we have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. So we're working on that as well. I spoke with the superintendent today. The old real estate building will be, they'll be demoing that next week. So that's what we have on that. Thank you. And Steve is going to speak on the gate issue. Thank you.
Steve Smetko, Unit 2. I'm going to read this, although I can probably handle it. With the development fronting Brookridge on Cortez Boulevard proceeding, the Community Development Committee has been actively researching the feasibility of installing a second permanent gate for Brookridge. This second permanent gate will be for residence use only, as well as emergency vehicles. This gate is intended, in part, to help alleviate the anticipated increase in vehicular traffic at the main gate due to the development. The site currently chosen and being pursued for that second gate is Adolph Street, which is the current site of an evacuation gate at Grove Road. In order to proceed with our plan for a second gate, Hernando County requires that Brookridge submit an amended master plan for their review as a prerequisite to any further action on our part. Our committee is currently pursuing meeting the county's requirements for such an agreement. We will update the community as the process unfolds.
Okay, I know that everyone has had some question about the audit, the fact that they were in draft format, the fact that we had to go back to the auditing company. I know that Richard and David have worked diligently, and we received the audits. In fact, we got copies of them, I believe it was this morning, correct? Okay. We've been asked to go over them, take a few days, go over them, and then we're gonna all discuss what's in them. We're gonna make sure that that they're posted behind the wall, behind your passwords on the webpage. But they'll be all of them will be out so that you can see them 22, 23, and the explanations on those. And there'll be hard copies at the office if you want one. You'll have to stop by there and pick them up. But that won't be until after the board's had a chance to look them over, each one of us, and then we have a chance to talk about them. So we know we appreciate your patience and your understanding and helping us, try to give us the time frame that we needed to be able to figure this out. And now that we have them in, we'll make them available to you just as soon as we read through them and make sure that they're all set and ready to go up. Okay? I just want to make sure you're aware of that. a lot of things are happening in the community right now. We're working on several things. And I just wanted to make sure that that piece was out there, because like I said, we just got it this morning. So, okay. I know, right?
There's, James Bennett has a question. Have you found the alleged missing bank account? Which we'll speak to towards the end of the meeting. Someone else had asked that, and we'll speak to that, James. Report of directors. Richard, do you have anything?
Oh, okay. I have statements from Edward Jones. Right now, we have in Edward Jones a little over $2,114,000. In Brennan Bank, we have over 600 and some thousand. And I also have a copy of the check that was cashed at Brennan Bank was from Charter Communications. That was the our parent company of Spectrum. And we didn't get $1 million. It was $990,800. And if anybody wants to inspect the check, you can inspect the check. I've been trying to balance as many things as I can. I found a dormant account at Truist Bank, and that has been activated. Catherine and David were with me when that was done. That had only $2,770 and some change, so nowhere near the $141,000, unfortunately.
So what about this spectrum money?
It's in Brennan Bank, okay? And well, we have a $2 million basically T-stamp where we're insured for a lot more money, but there hasn't been any major deposits as of late that I'm seeing. So I have to, I guess, look at other things. We have money in Truist Bank also, and we have money in Capital City Bank too. Okay, and we have over 20, I think 22 or 23 CDs in Edward Jones. Okay, and they're laddered and they come up and they renew, and at the highest rate that we can get right now. But if anybody wants to look at any of that, I have that right here in case you're interested.
Okay. I have nothing to speak on. The gatehouse has been pretty well covered, so thank you, Jim. Kathy?
I don't have anything.
I just would like to, I'd like to go off what Richard was talking about as far as the finances were concerned. I know that there's been a lot of talk about tax time coming up, and the fact that Spectrum money is in an operating fund, to my knowledge right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know that between working with the attorneys and working with the banks, I know that which everybody should be, we will be able to withdraw the full amount, put it into a reserve account, which is where it should have been to begin with, and work through it and with it from there. That's not operating money, that's reserve money for things that the community might need, want, or what have you. I do know that they're working on different ways to resolve tax issues.
Well, it's a strategy that
Correct.
Michael DeMar from Affinity, we want to benefit all the members of Brookridge. By having it in operating, it doesn't benefit the members
Correct.
of Brookridge. By putting it in reserves, it makes it more of a contribution from the members of Brookridge, 2,800 and some homes or whatever. And it's better budget-wise it'll cause our budget to be much better by doing it that way. Because we didn't have a raise in the amount of money that we're taking in. So we want to benefit all the members of Brookridge and make it better. Plus, we want to lower our tax burden that way. And that was the strategy that Michael DeMars had suggested. So that's what the plan is. We're just waiting for the attorney to give us the final way that we're supposed to do that.
Correct, and the other thing you should probably know is that we went to, Richard and David and I have been to banks upon banks upon banks. We went to Regions Bank, which was where there was some difficulties to begin with. And we were not happy with the fact that there wasn't a unified relationship between Brookridge and the bank. So we closed out that account and we put everything into Brennan. And I know that because I'm the one that went and closed it and brought it all over to Brennan and had it deposited and gave the deposit slip to Arlene. So I know we're all good. I just want everybody to know that we're out here actively working every day, sometimes endlessly. I don't know about you guys, but, and we're just trying to make things better. We're trying to make them right. So that's it. I don't have anything else to report on anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
So member comments, Robin, you want to come? Do you want me to read it? You just.
Yeah.
Okay. Robin Napier commented on the contract. She wanted to know who and what did the lawyers say about the contract. So, you want to talk?
Are you going to the mic? You want to, do you have other questions or is that the question?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, that would be cool. I would like that. I love that jacket.
Robin Napier, Unit 3. My question was on the contracts because David had spoke about it last month and said that by this time, this coming month, that you guys would have talked to the attorney and that the attorney would have told you whether or not they were legal. That was what was really important. And then I also was wondering, who were the witnesses and the signers that knew about it but didn't say anything? Because I thought that they worked for us. So if these contracts were being put together, you would think that we would have been told.
Well, there was one person that actually initiated the contract.
And who's that? But then she had to have witnesses, right?
She had no witnesses.
She had no witnesses. So how would that have been a legal contract? If you've ever looked at
Linda Walls.
Linda Walls. Well, there has to be two,
Okay.
but that's only one. Because
That's all that was involved.
Millie's the one who signed the contract. She was the one who agreed to it, but then you have to have two witnesses. Is that not correct? There were no other witnesses on the contracts?
I don't have it in front of me.
Not to our knowledge.
No?
No. Linda Walls only signed one of them, actually.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is I know Linda's no longer with us, and I know that Millie's no longer here, so I understand them. But if Arlene or any of you guys knew about it or signed off on them, I don't understand why we would not know.
Okay, I can tell you, I knew nothing at all about it.
Good.
I found out when you guys found out. So I heard rumor of it, but it was never addressed to me. I can tell you that the lawyer has said that the two remaining contracts, there were 4, 2 of the contracts have, they are no longer, and the other 2 are still in place.
And who are the two that are still in place?
And why is that? Why?
The other 2 were done longer ago.
Yes.
They've been in place longer ago. Yeah, beyond the probationary period.
So you couldn't dissolve those?
Even if they were illegal to start with?
they're not illegal because they were signed documents by the president and by other witnesses at that point in time. So the difficulty is that the two that were dissolved were within that time frame, so they could be dissolved.
And the other two were what time?
September was one and the other one
September, what?
was a year ago.
September a year ago.
Yeah.
February a year ago, right?
So are we talking about the one that Vince had?
Vince has one of them.
And then the other one is
Peter.
Peter. Okay.
Yes, those are the only two employment contracts, and they'll be behind the password protected wall for
Okay.
you guys to be able to go in and check out. They all have to be on there by the first of the year.
Okay.
Okay, those are the only two contracts. But I'm just gonna say that I am aware because I was not aware of the other two.
Right.
So,
Right. And I don't have a problem with the contract.
right,
My problem is I am the person as a member that should know about it. It's like, everything should be transparent, and yet we have to stand up here and really, I mean, a lot of people probably look at me and say, why does she always worry about them contracts? It's only because we're paying for it, and if they do something and someone decides to get rid of them, we've got to continue to keep on paying on that contract. So those contracts are really binding. What's in those corners means something.
that's
So-
correct, but when you stop and think about a contract, and I can tell you, being a Brookridge resident, not just a board member, I don't know anybody up here that is thrilled about any employee having a contract.
Right.
The good thing about a contract with an employee is not only does it, it protects us, it's binding, it protects us in being able to say, this is your job, these are your job descriptions, we want you to do them. If they don't do them, they violated the contract. We
Right.
didn't. So therefore, you're not paying. So actually, it gives you sort of like a little bit of leverage because they know what their job description is and they know what they have to adhere to. So, I mean, you can feel better about it like that. I don't feel good about any contract that gets signed in a back room somewhere and is not told to the residents because
Right.
we all are in this together.
Right. That's why I've always asked about it. That's why I've never understood.
Right.
And I mean, we've got people like, such as Arlene, she's in the front office, so you know that these contracts are going on, right, Arlene? And so you work for us. I would think you would come up here and tell us. That's what we pay for. We pay for your honesty. Not trying to put anybody on their, to upset them, but all I want is honesty. That's all I want. I give it, I want it back.
Okay, and so I'm gonna speak to that because we can't do anything about what previous boards have done. And I can tell you that a lot of people were fearful, and that includes a lot of the employees that are here working for and with you guys all the time. They were fearful of losing their jobs. They were fearful of the board because the board had, the hammer would come down and they were, okay. So there was a fear in here, there was some bullying that was going on, there were things that were not good.
Right, but we have an attorney, and if
do have-
you feel, especially if you're in that kind of a position, GM, you have an attorney you could go to. You had the 411. You could have said, listen, I don't feel comfortable with this. And I'm only being one person against all these people that are trying to get me to do something I'm not really feeling comfortable about. I would have stood up for you. That's all I'm saying. Eileen did, that's why I'm saying, and I'm not trying to pin it on her, but she's our general manager, and she should have that right. If she can contact the attorney on paperwork for our company for getting quotes, getting a yes or a no for a certain reason, she also should be able to say, you know what, Mr. Beck, whatever his name is, I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm being asked to do something and it's against how I feel I should be doing. I think that members should know about this. Work for me.
We do not have an HR department. No. I believe that we have an HR person, and that person, I believe, is Oh, it's Vivian? Vivian is our HR, I thought it was our lead, but apparently it's Vivian.
She was the bookkeeper.
Okay. So Vivian is our HR person apparently.
You do realize that at one point, I don't know if you remember the meeting, but Linda Walls wanted to replace our attorneys. You do know that, right? Okay, so.
Okay, next, Esther White, via, YouTube, says, "Hi, Vince. Could you please ask about the chairs for the clubhouse from Social Dance? Thank you." I think we already addressed this, but I believe she must have come on late. So Esther, you should watch the YouTube. Sandy Lewis. I think that's how it's always done.
Hello, Sandy Trouble Lewis, Unit 1. I have a couple of questions. The first one is the money, the bank account. Am I correct in understanding that from one audit year to the next audit year, we lost a bank account? Where did it go? And how did that happen? I used to balance bank accounts, little banks, lead banks, everything for Wendy's franchises. My CPA would have been all over me.
I wasn't on the board when it happened.
And I understand that, but
I'm trying to build backwards on all this stuff. That's why I've gotten a lot of statements. That's why I've been doing a lot of that.
But wouldn't the 1 year show that there was, 9 accounts? They'd all be named, numbered, da-da-da-da-da.
But we also changed a lot of banks too during all those times too.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah.
So one bank got changed and the money was pulled and never put anywhere?
Okay, I can read something.
Is it $250,000? That's, unaccounted for? I know you have all the, I know you.
Let me read something to you from Jones and Company from our CPA. Cynthia R. Ribeiro, okay? Brookridge Community Property Owners Incorporated, summary of issues. QuickBooks software being used, the file is large and there are too many transactions for one person to record daily deposits. Too many transactions and too much room for error. Next bullet point. QuickBooks file was corrupted at one point, where balance sheet was out of balance. Support had to be contacted. Next bullet point. Per bookkeeper, support must be contacted constantly for issues with QuickBooks. Next bullet point. Softwares can be used to automatically apply payment to owner's account when the payment is received in the bank, either at a lockbox or via ACH. Period. No manual data entry. Next bullet point. Bank reconciliation not performed on a timely basis. Next bullet point. Bank accounts opened and closed without recording in QuickBooks. Next bullet point. Bookkeeper not having access to all the bank statements. Next bullet point. Missing credit card transactions in QuickBooks. Next bullet point. Bank reconciliations were forced and creating a quote unquote reconciliation discrepancy. Expense account. Each transaction should be accounted for. Next bullet point. Checks and cash received at office, this should be minimum. A lockbox should be set up and no cash should be accepted at the office. Next bullet point. At the end of 2023, a bank account is missing. All accounts were reconciled and there is $141,000 that is not accounted for. Next bullet point. Bank reconciliations and financials should be reviewed by the board and manager on a monthly basis to identify any issues. Last bullet point. As of today, our firm has not received any bank statements for 2024 yet. The engagement letter was sent to the previous treasurer, who recently resigned, but not returned to us. So our CPA has gotten zero from the beginning of this year, has gotten no reports from our treasurer. So when you want to know what the problems are, please look at this. It's up to a lot of people. There are a lot of people involved. The main person would have been our treasurer.
Correct. Yeah, that's something's really not right.
You guys are good. You're not our bookkeepers, you're not, our treasurer is there just to give the financials from them.
Our treasurer is supposed to work
The
with them.
liaison.
The treasurer is supposed to make sure that everything is going where it's supposed to go. And making sure that all the statements are received. Make sure that the CPAs get what they need.
It's not
Okay.
our treasurer, it's up to
So
them.
we send information monthly to the CPA? Is that how this works or supposed to work? I mean, I did books for Wendy's franchises across the United States. I kept the books.
It should work that way.
So every time the bank statement came in, it was my job to make sure everything was deposited correctly. This is every month. This isn't once a year or once every quarter. This is every month.
Correct.
And then at year end, everything had to balance to what that last bank statement was. If it didn't,
This is the exact reason why David Henry is looking into a finance,
don't you think you
company
just need somebody to
to
balance the
work on
banks?
The whole accounting process.
I believe that when we all got together as a board, and that's what we've been working together on, is putting a finance company in here because that's gonna change the thank you. It's gonna change that whole financial piece, so it's out of Brookridge altogether. It's in the hands of the finance company, and all we will have at that point, the treasurer will be the liaison between the finance company and the board. That's it. No money will be touching hands anywhere in here. And that's the biggest reason why we started going down this path, because there are too many discrepancies. And like Richard said, we're always tracing them.
Right.
And we can't find an end. So he's in the rabbit hole, I'm in the rabbit hole, we're all trying to figure out where they all are, where they all went, we still haven't found them. So, and we don't want to report these kind of things to you, but that's the truth, we can't find them.
Can't
And
find it, yeah.
we can't get the information back from the previous treasurer because she's refusing to give it. So,
We have a turtle lawyer.
we do, but not if they say they don't have it.
Well, the banks would have it. The banks would have all the statements.
Whenever somebody resigns, they're supposed to turn everything,
Right.
a thumb drive, if there's a thumb drive, any files or whatever. I have not seen any files to go through, which I wish I did, but I don't. So I'm trying to rebuild everything from scratch.
Marlene, have you received anything from Level Walls? Nothing.
Seems like every time we get a new board, they have to start recreating everything from scratch. So there's something wrong with everybody doing what they're
I'm just
supposed
gonna
to.
speak for myself.
Right.
you guys all know because I stood up here in front of you guys
That's
forever
right.
saying I'm not being included. I have no idea what's going on. And I did when Millie stepped down and resigned. I had the opportunity to take the presidential role, but because of the fact that there was no training, Dave is like experienced so he's helping all of us and guiding everybody and trying to walk us into a different path. And I think it's beyond time. I think it's like.
And I think we all praise you for doing that at the board meeting,
Well,
and
just
telling
remember,
us.
when you see all of us out there, including all of the
You weren't.
employees that are working their butts off.
Right.
And Peter, his crew, Jimmy on board now, and all of us, we're all out here all the time. So if any one of you ever want to stop and see us, or email us, or call us, we're all available to you. That's what we're trying to do, is make ourselves available. So when we're out there doing something, if you have questions, come ask us. We have nothing to hide. It may not be good news we give you, but we're not gonna hide it either.
That's something I wanted to speak to about social media. I read all the comments, and what I don't understand is why people go to social media first, put these questions, put these horrible statements without coming to any of us, asking the question, getting an answer. If you're not satisfied with the answer, go ahead and go to social media. But I'm reading all this stuff and we've never had a chance to speak on it. No one's ever presented it to us. Some of the stuff we didn't even know was a problem. And it would just really be lovely if you would contact any of us. And if you contact me and I don't know, I will right then call somebody else and see what they think. I mean, we really, we live here. We want this place to be a wonderful place. I mean, it really is a wonderful place. There's just a few little snags that we got fixed. Tweak.
We need to tweak them up.
So did you have another question? 3 minutes. Okay.
I guess your 3 minutes are up.
I have two questions.
Oh,
There's nobody else.
There's nobody else. The other question is, I know a while back, there was a resident that got up and read a letter in regards to changing the, I want to say bylaw or regulation or whatever, in regards to children under 18. If there was a life-changing circumstance, I was wondering what the status on that whole thing was. Is there going to be something sent out when we vote to let the residents get that changed back to the way it was years ago? Or is something going to be put in news and views about that so they know that it's coming up for a vote? What's cooking?
Well, at the moment, nothing's cooking. I had two medical issues and I did want to revise some of the things and I want to bring back the legislative committee because we're so far behind on a lot of things. And one of the things that in looking, because of that family that came up and spoke at the board meeting, and the way it's written now, once we became a 55 plus community, children under 18 could spend time here with their grandparents or somebody, other adult above 55, but they only could spend 90 days cumulative in the year. So that's not even every other weekend. And that's what this family was concerned about, that, for a couple of days.
But this actually all started with a different family than that family that was here.
Well,
it was a family that was picked out of a whole street of people that had kids living with them. And they had gotten custody of their two little grandsons. And they were singled out. They were the only people on the street that got the violation, yes, and were singled out. They have since left here. So that's not the issue. But the issue is the life-changing circumstances that people have no control over. I know what the bylaw or whatever says. But if you go back to what it said prior to when it was changed, it was much more understanding to life-changing circumstances. You can't change what life is putting on your mind.
And I tried to bring that up, and I think that was the point, and there was a lot of discussion, unfortunately. The meeting that was, the issue was brought up,
I was not present, and they did present it as well as they could. But my basic theory was we should be able to be lenient to grandparents or adults here that are 55. We all have families and we all are concerned about our families. And sometimes there are things that happen in life that we can't predict. And it's not that we want to say everybody can come in here, bring all their kids in and that's gonna run rampant and we no longer will be a 55 community. I think that we could structure the bylaw to say under circumstances, that.
And that's all we were asking for.
And that's all I'm asking for, but there was so much kickback at that meeting from people that are they just have the stance that we're 55 plus and we don't want any children in here, period. And I don't know what their life circumstances are like. And I know there are a lot of people that never have children and they have the right to be that way.
They do, yes.
But
I
the
agree
thing
with that.
is, we as a community also have a rule that says we allow up to 20% of people to have children under 18 living with us. So
does the
we
community
need
need
to
to do a survey to see what, does the community need to do a
we
survey?
it needs to be brought up as a vote because it is a bylaw and it has to be changed by the community. So yes, it'll have to come up again at another board meeting, probably after the holidays.
Right.
We'll bring that up again for discussion and we'll be able to then, put it to a vote.
Ballot vote necessary.
A ballot vote, yes, it has to go out to the community.
So next year, too late now.
Well, yes, it's too late now. It's December and
We're talking about a year.
another year.
Maybe March, don't we have to have another vote?
We need to speak
Wait.
on that.
We can put it on the agenda for January, okay? We have so many things that we're doing. I mean, you see all the different things that are coming up and that we're trying, because as of January 1st, we have so many things that we have had to have done.
Yeah, but this is old business. This
Yes,
is
it
from,
is old business.
it's
And
built business. It's
I
not new
think
business.
once January comes, we can put it on the agenda. And once it's passed, we can send those ballots out.
So it should be able to go out on the March ballot, the ballot where we vote for new board members and
Well,
changes in rules and da,
we're
da, da, da.
right, we're gonna have to wait on that because we're taking resumes still on, rules and regs, bylaws, and, in order to be able to, go through them and make sure they're reworded and done properly. We have some in there that were here when we first opened,
Right,
that make no sense now.
right.
We also have the 720s that we have to go based upon 618s and 617s. So those all have to come up to date. So I think that all of that's gonna be addressed at that time. And yeah, you'll probably have several things that you have to vote on at that point, because bylaws you have to vote on. So
Well, I
it
know
would
the
be a
rules
ballot
and
vote.
regs went through a whole year of reviewing things and it was submitted to the board and.
Okay, but I can't speak to the
No, I
past
know
board.
you can't. I'm
Right.
just saying that,
I mean,
they did it
I'm
once,
working
I'm not
on-
sure they're gonna wanna do it again.
Right, I'm working on pulling together a couple of board members and I will be sitting with Gail. She was the previous Rules and Regs chair, as far as I know. So we'll be sitting with her and going over those, but the majority of them are no good anymore because the 720s have overridden a lot of it. So,
Okay.
We do have to speak to the ballots, to the board. Resumes for the board. We had 5 resumes for the board. 3 of them are already on the board. We have 2 openings. So the other 2 people, there's no reason to send out ballots because they're automatically on it. We are waiting to hear back. They're not on yet. There's 2 people that are not yet on the board. But they're going to be because they're the only two people that put in resumes.
No, now.
The only thing we're waiting for right now before they're appointed
Our attorney.
is our attorney to be able to respond to us and what we do for the terms. Because as far as we know, according to what's in our documents, they'll have a year's term, and then the following year, there would be a vote. This year, it would cost us between $5,000 and $8,000 to have
Send out.
to send out the votes, to have the electronic ones. So we're waiting for him to let us know what we do as far as
We'd
the
like
terms
to
are
save that
concerned.
money, because why have people vote for 5 people that are gonna be on the board anyway? It's like, you vote for yourself, you're gonna be on the board.
Right.
You know, if we had one more person running, or 2 more people running, then of course you'd send out. Dale Stratton and, Jerry Foster.
Foster. Hey, we welcome anyone that wants to run for the board.
Well, we just can't take any resumes anymore.
Yeah,
because they're just
For
not
this,
on there.
for this term, right.
Joan Golick, you did too. Just a quick question. The audit, why can't we get the forensic audit done by the sheriff's department? And it will cost the community nothing. They find out who did it, they prosecute. Trust me, I know someone that,
I didn't realize that the sheriff's department would do an actual forensic audit.
if you call and report money missing to the sheriff's office, they will do the forensic audit and they will prosecute if they find them.
Okay, so I'm gonna write that down and give them a call tomorrow to find out what's going on. Thank you. Hey, anytime we can save any money, I'm all for it.
I think if you can prove that somebody stole money, that they would do it. But if you can't prove it, I don't think they're gonna go through, I don't think they're gonna go through all your books, go through all your bank accounts, you know.
Yeah, I will call
You
and
have
ask.
to have some kind of proof of something for them to get involved.
But I'm gonna call tomorrow and find out. That's what I'm doing. Okay,
Is there any-
did we have anybody else?
I have one thing. Over here. James Bennett wants to know, what positive steps are we taking to find the money? This is serious, requires law enforcement. He's appreciative of discussions with David and Catherine, but do not feel assuaged by comments regarding the missing bank account.
What about like the treasure for my hearing aid was 224?
Okay.
Can you get up to the mic? I can't hear you.
Please go up to the mic and give your name and unit number, please.
Oh, okay, don't, I'll bring it to you.
If you'd like to come over to my house and go through everything that I've been going through.
Melinda Warner, and District 3. Okay, Melinda Warner, District 3. My question is, you may not know who took it or anything, but if you're having trouble with other treasures, like 224 or 2024, not getting any receipts or anything done, you know, that's a prime person to talk to. And I know it's been back before too, other people in the board. The treasurers, yes. Yeah,
Well, we can work on that, right, guys? Okay, I think we're all working on the treasury piece, and that's a really good point that you brought up, so we will definitely look into that. But that's about all I could. Can't do anything about it right now. Thank you. So, anyway, any other discussion? Okay, it is now 8:18, and I'm making a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very
And
much.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody, thank you.
Stay safe. No, you have to stay. Hey, I ain't gonna go.